Good morning, students, staff, and other guests who are joining us virtually today. I am Mr. Rurka, and I will be your host for our assembly this morning. As we meet today, we acknowledge that we are meeting on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting grounds, gathering place, and traveling route to the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. We also acknowledge the historical significance of the Métis Nation to the city of St. Albert. This is the time of year when we reflect on the wonder and celebration of another year in the books. Students have grown academically, made new friends, have worked tremendously hard all year long, and are no doubt excited for summer holidays, which are right around the corner. And given that we've just navigated a school year in which wearing masks, social distancing, classroom cohorting, staggered recesses, and frequent hand sanitizing were all part of our daily rituals, this break will be very much appreciated. At this time, one of the most difficult things is saying goodbye. The purpose of our assembly is to acknowledge students and staff who are moving on to new ventures and beginning a new chapter in their lives. I would like to officially begin our program by acknowledging students who are moving on to another school this year. This includes all of the grade 6 students who will be moving on to junior high and any students who know they are moving on to another school. Normally we are hosting this assembly in the gym, and I would ask that you stand to be recognized. But we're not in the gym, but guess what? I'm still going to have you stand. If you are in your classroom and you are moving on to another school next year, I ask that you please stand. Classmates, I would like you to look at these individuals and hold a place for them in your heart and recognize all they have done at Leo Nickerson as they start a new venture next year. Please know that even though you are moving on, you are forever part of the Leo Nickerson family. Each of you has left a legacy here at the school, and we know you will continue to do so at your new schools. One of the philosophies we have for students at Leo Nickerson is that when they leave, they are not only students who do well on their schoolwork, but that they become students who have character and who display their true colors. Each of you has grown tremendously in the type of student you are and over the entire course of your learning journey. You are a group of students who care, who are kind to one another, who show compassion for those in need, and who strive to make the world a better place. Thank you for all of your hard work. Students, you must make us one promise. The promise to come back and visit and to let us know how things are going and what you're up to. So long as we're allowed to do so with the COVID rules, but I'm hopeful that won't be a problem next year. Even though we are in our classrooms instead of the gym, let's give these wonderful students a round of applause. A formal farewell assembly for the grade 6 students will be taking place specifically for that group tomorrow. I would like to continue our program by acknowledging staff who are moving on to new ventures next year. Let's acknowledge these special guests who are in attendance digitally. This includes Mrs. Rebecca Spanakas, an EA in English Kindergarten, Mrs. Carrie Santiago, an EA in English Kindergarten, Mr. Janvier Russo, grade 4-5 French immersion teacher, Mrs. Kate Pippink, an EA in grade 6 online this year, Mrs. Nancy Rennie, grade 1 English teacher, Mrs. Stephanie Bland, our administrative assistant in the office, Mrs. Teresa Schmidt, grade 3-4 French immersion, online this year. I also wanted to acknowledge 5 temporary staff who were with us this year, and includes the following: Mr. Victor Carason, an EA in grade 4 French immersion, Miss Amelie Sherwin, an EA in grade 2 French immersion, Miss Michaela Lukey, an EA in kindergarten French immersion, Miss Yvette Webster, a teacher in grade 2 French immersion, and Mrs. Tricia Jolie, an EA in kinder French immersion. Your commitment and dedication to the students at École Leo Nickerson Elementary has been admirable. Each of you has contributed to making this school a positive and inviting place. Each of you has been part of the Leo Nickerson family, and you will always have a place in our hearts. Like our students, we ask that you keep one promise: the promise to stay in touch and to come back and visit. First on our program, we wanted to acknowledge Mrs. Spanakas. Though she was not with us for the whole year, we wanted to extend our gratitude and well wishes for Mrs. Spanakas in the future. Please enjoy the photos that follow. Second on our program, we wanted to acknowledge Mrs. Santiago. Mrs. Santiago is a well-known celebrity in our English kindergarten program. She has been in the division for 11 years and has worked exclusively at Leo Nickerson. The trusting relationships she has formed with students are what she is most proud of. This isn't to say there hasn't been a scary moment or two over the years. At one point, a student had gone missing and everyone was on high alert. It turns out the student elected to go home at lunch to get a snack without telling anyone. Crisis averted. When asked what matters most, Mrs. Santiago responded by saying that being honest, sincere, and authentic are very important to her. In the classroom, she is grateful for seeing children step outside their comfort zone and seeing how they grow in their own unique way. They inspire her to do the same. When asked what advice she would give to other school staff, she answered, quote, "Always work from the heart," end quote. You have to be passionate when working with children because they know when you are not. Those are also words from Mrs. Santiago. She has similar advice for students as she says they should always follow their dreams, lead with their hearts, and be true to themselves. If Mrs. Santiago was to win the lottery as she walked out the doors today, she would travel the world and open a community center to help students and families flourish and grow. Meanwhile, her idea of a great Saturday night is a cup of hot chocolate, a good book, and a seat in front of her fireplace. Mrs. Santiago has said that she feels truly blessed to come into this building 11 years ago and would like to leave you with these departing words. Live simply, dream big, be grateful, give love, laugh lots. What a powerful statement. Please enjoy the photos that follow. Third on our program, we want to acknowledge Mr. Russo. Mr. Russo, better known as Monster Russo, has been an integral member of the Nickerson community over the past several years. In fact, Mr. Russo has been at Leo Nickerson for 6 years and in the division for 9 years as both a teacher and an educational assistant. Mr. Russo knows that what matters most in school isn't typically the curriculum. It is to spend time building relationships with others. Once you have the kids on board, the curriculum naturally follows. I couldn't agree more, Mr. Russo. Notably, Mr. Russo's classroom can be heard blaring death metal music at 7:30 a.m. after his ritualistic walk to school each and every morning. He's also one of the only teachers I've ever observed to listen to this music while writing student report cards. He says it helps him to get in the zone. He's certainly in touch with his learning style. And as a side note, he also loves the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. I bet no one saw that coming. Despite his musical taste, Mr. Russo can be counted on to be calm, cool, and collected, as was showcased when he navigated a student's medical event that involved paramedics. While Mr. Russo said that this was the scariest moment of his career, you wouldn't have known it from how calm he was. The student, fortunately today, is healthy and well. When asked what advice he would give to students, he responded by saying, "It's pretty simple. The mantra I preach is, don't be a jerk." This usually comes out around Christmas time when student energy levels are high. Sometimes simple statements are very true. Mr. Russo's idea of a Saturday night involves pizza and horror movies. This would probably give me nightmares, but more power to you, Mr. Russo. Mr. Russo also remembers an embarrassing story in which he was acting principal for the day. He dressed up in his fanciest clothes and was in Madame Noel's office. He dropped something on the floor and bent over only to hear rip. The entire midsection of his pants had ripped open, and so he patiently waited for his wife to bring him a change of clothes. Additionally, on his first day as a student teacher here at Leo Nickerson, he was asked to print labels. Sounds like you had a tough mentor. He attempted this feat, which may as well be as challenging as winning a gold medal in the Olympics, and predictably, he failed. And students, you may be surprised to learn just how hard the task of printing labels is. Not only did they get jammed in the machine, but they actually melted in the machine. With 40 plus staff in the building and no photocopier working, he didn't exactly hold his head high on day one at Leo Nickerson as a student teacher. Mr. Russo reports that if he won the lottery, he would enrich his love of travel as he has currently been to over 30 countries and approximately 35 US states. When asked what matters most in his life, he responded, "My son. He's a complete nutcase and he drives me up the wall, but he is my favorite human." Please enjoy the photos and videos that follow.
This is Lindsay Hornung reporting for the Leo Nickerson Some Good News. And Jean-Pierre Russo, can you please tell me what happened in today's events?
It was horrible. I came into school this morning and the window was broken and the lights were off and I went to go feed my cockroaches to make sure they were okay and the lid was gone and the cockroaches were missing. I don't know what to do. I feel like they're everywhere. They're loose in the school. I can hear them scratching around. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Well, here's hoping your cockroaches turn up, sir. Thanks
Please.
for the interview.
Please help me. Please give me a call if you find them, please. I miss them tremendously.
Fourth on our program, we wanted to acknowledge Mrs. Pippink. Mrs. Pippink is an educational assistant who has ventured into the world of online learning this year. And in fact, to be precise, she is an interpreter. Mrs. Pippink has been at Leo Nickerson for 2 years and in the division for the same amount of time, providing her expertise in sign language and beyond. She is proud of the deep relationships she has been able to build with the students she works with, even while navigating through a pandemic and online learning. Teaching American Sign Language is challenging at the best of times, but during a pandemic this is even more true. Watching students progressively grow and develop fills her heart. One of the scariest moments of her career involved finishing the Terry Fox run, only to discover that she was being paged to assist an injured student. Her heart dropped and she felt scared. Fortunately, the student is 100% healthy and okay today, but she'll never forget the moment of panic. To Mrs. Pippink, her family and friends matter the most for her. She also believes deeply in standing up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. When asked what keeps her going and what inspires her, she responded, quote, "Being a positive person and being able to support kids on this journey called life." Mrs. Pippink knows that communication and teamwork are invaluable skills to success in an educational setting. Everyone has different roles in this adventure. Respect, understanding, and growth make the wheels turn together. She wants people to remember that when the days get hard, you are still making an impact on those around you, even if it's harder to see, and that you are still rock stars. If Mrs. Pippink were to walk out this building and win the lottery, she would pay off student loans, buy anything her parents desired, give some to her siblings, take her family and friends to Disneyland, travel the world, go back to school, donate some to charity, buy a house in a tropical destination, and save the rest for a rainy day. Those sound like good plans to me. Students and staff might be surprised to know that Mrs. Pippink has ridden a camel into the desert in Morocco, dove down into the blue hole in Belize, and rode a toboggan down a volcano in Nicaragua. In fact, she is only 2 continents off from touching them all. Her favorite quote is from a book called The Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. A young boy is sitting beside a mole when he is asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "Kind," responds the boy. Though Mrs. Pippink has only been here for 2 years, she has loved every moment of it and has found the work to be incredibly rewarding. She wants to thank you all for being part of her journey. She cannot wait to see where the next one takes her. Please enjoy the photos that follow. Fifth on our program, we wanted to acknowledge Mrs. Rennie. Mrs. Rennie is our grade 1 English teacher who has been walking through these doors for more than a decade. She started her career here in 2008 and has been here for the entirety of her career. To date, her proudest moment is hearing that one of her past students was inspired to go into the Faculty of Education because of the impact that she had. This isn't to say that she hasn't had a scary moment or two in her time thus far. On her very first day of teaching, the whereabouts of a student was unknown. Now, this would be a scary moment any time in a teacher's career, but on your first day of teaching, you may wonder if you've selected the right profession. Fortunately, everyone was safe and sound. Mrs. Rennie, I'm glad that moment didn't cause you to run for the hills, because the profession is better with you in it. To Mrs. Rennie, her family is the most important thing in the world to her. In fact, her kids are the source of ongoing inspiration for her, and she's always trying to be the best person she possibly can for them. When asked what advice she would provide for staff, she indicated that it's important to ask for help. There is no need to go through anything alone. Additionally, she says, when in doubt, get outside with your students. Nature heals our souls. Mrs. Rennie also wants students to know just how much they matter, that they are special, that their opinion is important, and that she believes in them. Students and staff might be surprised to know that she is a great cook, that she can hit a golf ball 250 yards, remind me not to go golfing with Mrs. Rennie, and that she finds math difficult. Her idea of a great Saturday night involves pajamas and popcorn under the heater on her deck. When asked if there is a saying that she tries to live her life by, she responded, quote, "It doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful," end quote. Lastly, Mrs. Rennie wants you to know just how much she will miss you. Please enjoy the photos that follow. Sixth on our program, we wanted to acknowledge Mrs. Bland. Mrs. Bland is a fearless administrative assistant who is a truly remarkable individual. When it comes to Leo Nickerson, Mrs. Bland knows pretty much everything about the school's history, its students, and its deeper inner workings. She is a wise gatekeeper who probably has a profound number of neural connections related to this school. If it's Nickerson related, she almost certainly knows the answer. Mrs. Bland has been here formally for 7.5 years in the office and had previously volunteered at the school for another 5, giving her 12.5 years of Nickerson experience. Mrs. Bland is proud of the fact that our division office has repeatedly offered extensive praise for having top-notch financial accounts. These words are spoken like a true administrative assistant. Notably, Mrs. Bland has been left in charge of the school on several occasions when administration is out. This goes to show how reliable and trustworthy she is. When asked what matters most in her life, Mrs. Bland responded, "My kids, my family, and of course, chocolate." Her family inspires her to keep going each and every day. Mrs. Bland knows that working in a school can be a stressful environment. She advises staff to be sure to take your breaks and to reset when needed. She also advises staff to be nice to the office ladies. After all, they will go above and beyond to help. I would say that's probably an understatement. They are the fabric that holds the school together in many different ways. If Mrs. Bland were to walk out of this building and win the lottery, she would pay off the debts of family and close friends and take them away on a guilt-free holiday. She would also pay for school for her nieces and nephews, put a large amount in savings, and go back to work as a volunteer. Students and staff might be surprised to know that she took 3rd place at the World Championships in Suzatan, Japan International Dance/Drill Competition in 1990 for cheerleading and the large dance team. I think I've got that correct. People might also be surprised to know that her home office is a disaster. I find this hard to believe given how organized she is at Leo Nickerson. Her idea of a great Saturday night is to play games with family and friends. Mrs. Bland lives her life by the following quote, "Enjoy the little things in life because one day you will look back and realize they were big things." Well said, Mrs. Bland. Mrs. Bland would like to leave you with the following departing words. Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you always know they're there. Please enjoy the photos that follow. Seventh on our program, we wanted to acknowledge Mrs. Schmidt. Mrs. Schmidt took a deep and brave leap this year to teach a grade 3-4 combined online class in French immersion. Mrs. Schmidt has taught for 5 years with St. Albert Public Schools at both Muriel Martin and Leo Nickerson. One of her fondest memories is of homeschooling her own children when she was online teaching in Kamloops, British Columbia, several years ago. What matters most in Mrs. Schmidt's life is her family. They continually inspire her as they collectively work towards a variety of short and long-term goals. When asked what advice she would give to her students, she said, quote, that they should always err on the side of kindness. You never know what others are going through. Follow your dreams because it is the key to happiness. Mrs. Schmidt also said that if she were to walk out of this building and win the lottery, that she would buy every house on her street so that her kids, parents, and friends would be closer. Being with the people she cares about matters deeply to her. Mrs. Schmidt is also fond of quotes and elementary stories. One of her favorite quotes is by Winnie the Pooh, which reads, "Just walk beside me and be my friend." That sounds like a pretty good piece of advice to me. Mrs. Schmidt is well-traveled, having been to nearly every province in Canada. She's grateful for her time at Leo Nickerson and the many happy memories she will take with her. Mrs. Schmidt wants others to know that she is only a call, a text message, or an email away. Please enjoy the photos that follow. To our temporary staff, we hope that you know that there is nothing temporary about the work you've done. It has been important and will leave a lasting impression on the many staff and students with whom you have worked. We want to wish you the best of luck in the future and hope that our paths will cross again. At this time, I would like to now invite Madame Noel to offer her remarks to staff and students moving on.
Hello, Leo Nickerson staff and students. Welcome to our final assembly of the school year. I'm Madame Noel, and I'm so fortunate to be the principal of Leo Nickerson School. We've reached the end of the school year, and what a year it has been. Although things were done a little differently this year, I am incredibly proud of how every one of you have worked hard and supported one another. You've made some great friends, and you've shown your community how you can take care of one another in simple yet important ways. You've followed the true colors of Leo Nickerson, nos vraies couleurs. You've shown cooperation, organization, listening, open-mindedness, understanding, respect and responsibility, and you've shared and you've cared. I always have mixed emotions about the end of the school year. I'm happy because summer's here and there's so much to look forward to. I'll get to spend more time with my husband, my kids, and my dog. I look forward to reading a huge stack of books, camping, and playing in the water and on the boat. I also feel a little bit sad that it's the end of the year, and in part it's because I won't see you all for a couple months, but it's also because of the need to say goodbye to some really incredible students, staff, and parents. To our grade 6 students, I wish you all the best at your new junior high schools. Remember what it takes to be a good friend and be that friend for those who may need it. You might not always know who may need your kindness, so it just makes sense to be kind to everyone you meet. To our students moving to new schools, I wish you so much happiness in your new school. School's a great place to be, and we'll miss you at Leo Nickerson. Your new school is lucky to have you, and I hope you'll always carry fond memories with you of the time that you spent here. To our teachers and support staff who are leaving to go to new schools or to take on new adventures, thank you for giving everything you had to make Leo Nickerson a caring and welcoming school for all staff and students. Be sure to share a little bit of Leo Nickerson's unique culture of caring and acceptance wherever you go. And lastly, to everyone part of the Leo Nickerson School this year, a final message. Peter Reynolds, the author of the book Be You, says, as you voyage out into the world, remember no matter what, you will always be loved. Peu importe vos choix, vous serez toujours aimé. So go ahead, have a wonderful summer. Be you. Be very, very you. And we'll see so many of you along with new faces back at Leo Nickerson in the fall. Au revoir tout le monde. Bon été.
As we come to a close, I would like to offer the following concluding remarks. To the students of Leo Nickerson School, it is important that you do well academically and that you work hard on your schoolwork. However, the type of person you become is far more important. Become a kind person who has good character. Become a person who makes a positive impact on the world. Be the kind of friend that a friend would want to have. And most importantly, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Or, as Peter Reynolds said in our book of the year, be you. To the staff at Leo Nickerson School, what you have here is truly special. It is a caring environment. It is a place we can call home. It is a place where we laugh, and sometimes it is a place where we cry. It is a place where everyone can be themselves and belong. It is a place where we can grow, even if part of that growth means celebrating one another as we move on to new ventures and experiences. On behalf of everyone here at Ecole Leo Nickerson Elementary School, we wish you all the best. This is Mr. Rurka signing off.